out to Leszewski. Leszewski for three. Got it!
Money, huddle, gotta, cuddle, lot of orders, dollars, quarters.
Welcome back, Irish fans, to Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. Today, previewing the biggest game of the year, obviously, just playing around. Boston College, Notre Dame, Saturday. Two teams who are pretty much out of it. Neither of them really playing for postseason, but still got to cover this game. Dog days of the season comes with covering a team that's under 500, can still get there theoretically if they win a game or two in the ACC tournament and win this game, win NC State. I think you're just playing for that at this point, and hopefully the NIT happens. I think it'll be around 16 teams if it does. So still going to be really tough, but to even have a chance at that, you got to finish above 500, at least in most years, maybe not this year, but definitely got to do that if you want to get an NIT. So if you're trying to see how this game matters for this season, that's what it would be. I'll get into how it kind of matters later down the road, kind of player development, but I guess we can get into the preview. I'll go over some stuff about Boston College, just because they're a completely different team than Notre Dame saw a few months back. Rich Kelly entered the transfer portal today and will not play for them for the rest of the year. Winston Tabbs broke COVID protocol and won't play for them for the rest of the year. Also entered the transfer portal. Really kind of sucks to see for him. Guy who came back from a ton of injury issues, actually had a decent year. I'm not sure of his exact stats, but I think he was a double-digit scorer, had some really good games. So sucks for him. But I guess if you break team protocol, then we can't really feel too bad. But hopefully he finds a spot and ends up having a good end to his career. So best to him. But kind of glad Notre Dame doesn't have to play him. And the really big news, Boston College, Jim Christian got fired a few weeks back. Really weird timing. I think it was on a holiday weekend in the middle of the season, but it was right after Winston Tabbs. Maybe it had something to do with the COVID issues, but you would think you're going to wait till the end of the season to fire the guy, but I don't know. I'm not in their shoes. I would have waited, but who am I to tell them what to do with their coach? I think this was long overdue, just maybe not the greatest timing. Let him finish out the season. And that kind of puts them in a really rough spot for the end of this year. They seem checked out. They're kind of just going through the motions. They could be a team that really can screw with some team if they come out fired up. But I think with all Boston College fans, I think they're kind of done with this year. I think they're looking to next year. Maybe not all, but it seems like they should be checked out. And I don't expect a whole lot of them the rest of the year. Maybe they go to Greensboro, win a game, but I doubt it. They're kind of just going through the motions. When they hire a coach, I'm sure there'll be more excitement around the program, but losing a starter and then a guy who started games is really deflating, and your coach getting fired in the middle of the year. I'm sure that's why Rich Kelly left, or maybe something else. Maybe they just because they suck. But I think we could see more guys transfer in the offseason like we did with Wake Forest, and I don't think that would be a terrible thing either, just because it would allow whoever the new coach is to build their program. So I guess that's all for Boston College. They're going to be a completely different team, like I said. I think their lineups will probably be Jay Heath, maybe at the one, I guess. They don't really have much of a point guard left. One of the Langfords, both of them are kind of long, athletic defenders, guys who can kind of get to the basket, create off the dribble. Like both of them, just if they weren't starting over Rich Kelly, they shouldn't be starting normally. CJ Felder will probably be in there, Kamari Williams, and Stephon Mitchell. Kind of an undersized front court, some physicality there, though. Boston College is not a team that scares me at all. Notre Dame beat them by 10 with Winston Tabbs, with Rich Kelly, with Jim Christian, and now Boston College coming off nearly a two-week pause. Probably will be 2 weeks by the game time. Filming this Thursday, but I think Boston College is in a really bad spot right now. They're just trying to get this season over with and if teams are allowed to opt out of Greensboro, I think Boston College could be one of those teams. I mean, they're not going to make the NIT. They're not going to make the tournament. So it's just hopefully this is a game Notre Dame comes out and wins. So getting into the keys, number one, play with energy. Not saying they didn't care or anything at Louisville, but with their tournament hopes done, didn't nearly see the fire we saw out of them early on. So that's my number one key, play with energy. The zone was really flat. It wasn't doing anything against the Louisville team that was missing their only guy who was shooting over 30% from three going in that game. They still couldn't do anything on them playing zone. So just play with energy, defend hard. And that's kind of the theme of this. They're so much better than Boston College is right now, talent-wise. It's going to take them beating themselves or Boston College getting super hot to beat them. Kind of going off that, Boston College, basically the same team as Notre Dame in terms of style. Maybe that'll change next year with their new coach, but Jim Christian's teams live and die by the three ball a lot of the time. So to outshoot them, Notre Dame did that in the first game, and I don't expect any different when they travel up to Massachusetts. So number two is going to be outshoot them, and then three, pressure the ball. I kind of touched on this, but with Rich Kelly leaving, they don't really have a point guard. They don't have their point guard for the whole year. Winston Tabbs could have been their second best ball handler, if you ask some people. Jay Heath's probably going to have to bring the ball up, or one of the Langfords. So that's going to be something to monitor for sure. I think you put Cormac on a guy like Jay Heath, and you do a really good job just picking him up from maybe half court or even farther. And I think you can create some turnovers like teams have done against Notre Dame recently. Wouldn't say press them, but pressure the ball. Make it tough for them to shoot threes because that's how they beat you. So those are my keys to the game. Nothing too crazy. Doesn't have to be anything crazy if Notre Dame's a better team than them, which they are. What to watch for, Zona and Sanders. I think this could be a game where those two guys and Elijah Morgan finally get in again. It's been a while since the blue team made an appearance, and I think it'd be really good for Zona and Sanders to make an appearance in this one. It's been a while. Zona and Sanders have worked out after pretty much every game. I think all the home games. They're trying to show Bray that they're worthy of playing time, and this game has nothing on their tournament implications. They're probably not going to go regardless of this game. They're going to have to win in Greensboro if they want to get there. So Zona and Sanders could have a really nice opportunity to get some playing time in this one, and hopefully they do. I would love to see them go against a team that's not as good as them and maybe get some confidence going into next year, player development, just show them some more game action because that can never be a bad thing. For freshmen, I guess it can be in extended amounts, but if you're playing these guys for a couple minutes, it's not gonna do them any harm. So we'd love to see them out there, even in a closer game. And then the other thing I have to watch for is how does Nate bounce back. Was playing a bit injured. Hopefully he does play. I think he will. But was playing a bit injured in that last game, and frankly, it wasn't the same after that injury. Just never really got going. That might have been one of their worst performances of the year for him and the team. So hopefully he can bounce back, and that's something I'm watching for. Matchup to watch, Cormac versus Langfords, Williams, Jay Heath. I think this can be a really nice confidence-building game for Cormac. He's been pretty good at hunting his shot lately. Got to the basket a few times against Louisville and finished tough layups. So really looking forward to seeing what Cormac can do against some more long athletic wings. So hopefully Cormac can do a good job against Kamari Williams and the Langfords. So that's the matchup I'm really watching. Last time it was Durham and Laz versus Felder and Mitchell. I think that has a bigger impact on the game, but a bigger impact on Notre Dame's future is what Cormac does. Would love to see Cormac close the season out on a hot streak because I think he might have the highest ceiling on the entire team as a scorer, and he might be the best defender on the team already. Probably will be going into next year, so that's something to watch for sure. Leading scorer, I don't think I've picked this all year, but I'm going to go Jawan Durham. Durham's been maybe their most consistent player lately, and he has a big height advantage on Felder and Mitchell, so going to pick him. I think he can really work out of the ball screens, and maybe they'll even give him some ISO post ups, kind of let him work down low. So Durham could definitely be a guy who could have a really nice game on Saturday. And my prediction, biggest Notre Dame win of the year is my prediction. Notre Dame by 10 to 12. I just think this Boston College team has got all the life sucked out of it in the last few weeks. Haven't played in a long time. How many games have they lost in a row? A lot. 3-13 on the season. These guys are just, they're not what a lot of people were hoping they could be. 15th in the ACC, and they have not won since that last Notre Dame game. Have had a ton of games postponed and lost 3 straight after Notre Dame to NC State, Wake, and Syracuse. So pretty brutal ending to the season for them. Hopefully for their sake, they can get it going next year with their new coach. There's a couple candidates I like for them. That's for a different time, but Notre Dame should take this one. If Notre Dame comes out flat like they did against Louisville or against Boston College in the first 2 games last year, then it could be an issue, but I think Notre Dame goes out and wins this game. I don't see any reason why they can't. There's no matchup that I dislike. Boston College doesn't have a couple of their players. They have a new coach. Maybe they'll play with some more fire because it's been a while, but I don't see any way Notre Dame really chokes this game. Boston College doesn't have any of the things they really struggle with outside of some length on the perimeter. So that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure the off-season podcast will be a lot more engaging. I'll get Jake on soon. I'll probably get some more people on for the ACC tournament games. Hopefully they can win a game or 2 in Greensboro. Not super optimistic that tournament is even normal. Hopefully it's not just bubble teams, and I don't even know if Notre Dame's going to go in that case. It's going to be really hard for them to build their resume at this point, but that's for another time. Thank you guys for watching. Go Irish, and we'll be back soon. Peace.